Alrighty, I don't know if anyone joined. Let's see. If anyone is there, just say something just to make sure that we can see, hear each other. And then we can start. Raw, good evening, but thank you very much for saying something. You can hear me well, loud and clear, right? Everything's fine, I hope. Just gonna try one thing. Okay, nice. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. Just starting the stream now, so had to make sure. All right, well, good evening, man. Thank you very much for coming. I will just check a couple of things. Input children, okay? Just need to check some stuff, and then we start slowly. What's up with the cursor? All right. Oh, come on. Jeez. Sign up form schema is the test. Schema, sure. Sign up form schema. Export, import, yeah, sure. Then we have we have a custom hook. And then over here somewhere, we have sign up form. And then login form on the background, sure. Amar situation, thank you very much for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Good to have you here. Alright, let me just check. So we're just starting. So what do we have here? What do we have here? We have the render, we have our input with an error. Okay, actually, it's been a while since I've taken a look at our core library. But if we take a look at this, actually, input children, why is this so far from the input? Actually, doesn't matter. Let's just... Yeah, man, I can see that. Thank you very much for coming, dude. So let's actually see, what do we do? Yeah. Actually, instead of doing that, let's just... let's go here. Let's take a look at the Docker logs. I just need to make sure that we didn't break things. I have a massive PR. Okay, refresh, good. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see, this cannot be broken. So we need to make sure that works. Skip, okay, actually I will provide this. I will complete this. All right, let me just grab my tablet just to see what I left. Alrighty. Let's just see what I wrote. I wrote some notes last time I worked in all of this. All right. Programmer network, yes. Forms, yes. So what did I write down? Ensure that the forms work. Social profiles under profile settings. Oh, so the content fix. Okay, so I have some notes written. So let's kind of start there. So one thing so I was kind of refactoring. I have a huge PR opened. So social platforms, this thing seems to be kind of messed up. So let's kind of fix these things and we're going to see where the stream takes us today. Where is this? This is in front. Okay, very good. And then what do we have? So we have that part, and then this is part of our Yale, I suppose. Yeah, exactly. The main input, handle the main change. Let's actually see what we get here. So let's see what we get here when we actually try to add some of this stuff. Payload, social profiles is empty, okay. Gab, good evening, buddy. Thank you very much for coming, man. Let me just close all of these chats. I know that you're new, man. I've heard that already. Interesting. Okay, sure. So what do we have here? We have the field. Then we have this very strange handler defined in here like this. Social platforms control. Yeah, so this kind of got a bit messed up, so I guess we can start the stream by fixing this. So we introduced this use React form thing that I'm replacing this library that I wrote myself for our built-in library to say. Yeah. So let's see kind of what this does. Actually, let's open that add. How is it called? That social platform. What? All right, so what we actually gonna do is we will not do this like this. We're gonna probably remove this from our core library, so we actually don't need that. So so let's actually let's maybe rewrite this a little bit, because this kind of sucks. This is the part of this kind of profile section that's pretty bad, and shouldn't really be part of a different component. So let's actually go back into that again. So what do we add? Social platform. So we have the platform, the URL, the button. So these are kind of these two inputs here. Ah, I see. Okay. Sure. Add social platform. And then we actually have the profile entries here that we are trying to push. Yeah. So actually, yeah, this is fine. The problem is basically this there. Okay. Ravaz, my friend, good evening. Thank you for coming. Good, man. Good. A bit tired. I kind of decided to stream last minute. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff at work, kids, wife, family. You know, standard stuff, as you can imagine. What about you, man? How are you? How is everything? Okay, so let's actually let's use the AI a bit for this. So let's say given the social platforms section and the fact that our add social platform comes from our core Yale library, let's actually write add social platform part inside of our front-end project, as it makes no sense for it to be part of our Yale. Then let's fix the remaining issues inside social platforms. All right, let's kind of. Thank you very much, man. I mean, always very happy when you guys are around. I mean, we're kind of, so we're equally tired together, if you may. Yeah. But yeah, let's hang out a bit. Let's see where the stream takes us. It might be a 3-hour stream or an hour. Let's see how people feel, how many people join and stuff like that. It has to be fun, right? So I have like a massive PR I was doing off stream. I just replaced my use AJV form, like a library that I built long ago, with something more kind of community related, if you may. So you can see that I have a massive PR of like, it's like a huge change, you can see. So just all right, let's kind of get some work done. Luckily for this UI, for some of the UI stuff here, we can use AI to kind of speed it up, because it's no enjoyment writing this JSX. So, and then we'll see where it takes us. I have some notes here that we can kind of focus on doing today. So let's see how it goes. Oh, yes, fix out of focus, tip tap, improve forms accessibility, replace X. Yeah, okay. Alrighty, let's go ahead and give it a shot. We kind of incrementally as always. And let me actually go and just pin our network URL for those who haven't signed up yet. So those who haven't signed up yet, let's just pin it there. Yes, nice, beautiful. Okay, cool. Yeah, but you know, lines of code is not measure of anything, right? So sometimes 10 lines of code are more valuable than 1,000 lines, right? So yeah. Mostly this green code that you saw is by nature when you do UI work, there's a bunch of, you know, markup, bunch of stuff that just adds these lines, but and then there's a bunch of schemas, bunch of meta code, if you may, right? So most of it is meta code, like types, something that's not even bundled into, you know, Josh, my friend, good evening. So it's not really code per se, like a hard code. It's rather, you know, okay. How is life, Josh? Thank you very much for coming as always, my dude. All right, we'll have to review this. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So let's actually see what it did. Oh, we get rated. Cool, cool, cool. Dimu, thank you very much, man. I forgot how to do these things in Twitch. Twitch, good. I almost said. I think it's called shout out, right? I forgot. Yes, there we go. Network. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Good to have you here. Thank you for passing by. I don't think I actually rated anyone ever. I don't even know if I know how to do that. So maybe I should learn that as well. But thank you very much. Thank you for doing that. It's pretty cool. I just started the stream a couple of minutes ago, so just kind of figuring out what to do. To be honest with you, I hope you guys had a good stream. I hope. I'm not doing anything particularly super fun now, but that is the start of every stream. Just trying to do some things incrementally and improve them. You had fun, of course. That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters, I guess. Give me 1 second. Sure. Cool. Yeah. That's great. Okay. I'm just doing bunch of AI on regex, if you may. So I had some built-in house libraries I wrote for this platform long ago, and because I don't have the time anymore to maintain them, I'm kind of replacing them with some open source stuff. So fundamentally, I just did a massive like a massive change of all of the forms on Programmer Network. If you have ever checked Programmer Network. So just now need to correct AI on some mistakes. Some mistakes, we can probably put it that way. Okay, so these getters are fine. It's kind of okay, I guess. Let's see what it did here. Sure, even though yeah. I mean, yeah, some of these things we can. Question, is it possible to add custom tags for articles, or would it be too much work screening the words for bad words? Is it possible to add custom tags for articles? So basically, if we go to our API, right? So I've never built like a full-fledged reference-based tag system for Programming Network. We have, let's actually take a look at that. I don't remember. Everything is built inside of the stream, the whole platform. But as you can see, we have a finite amount of tags. Like I generated this list when I started streaming long ago, and it is a list of very common tags. And I think I've generated this using Stack Overflow's. What was the name of the API? I don't remember. They have like this publicly exposed thing. Now when we have AI, so what I basically do, Josh, now is I use OpenAI. So when you go to like Programming Network here, right, and you leave a tag, so you might say, you know, Haskell is the best programming language ever, right? So when you do this, what I do, I take the string, I shoot it to OpenAI, and then I say, hey, and I pass all of these tags as context as well. So you would need to use machine learning back in the day for this. Now fundamentally what happens, I say, hey, given this list of tags that I have, classify this thing. So very long ago when I was actually actively streaming, when I was doing this more than, I don't know, I kind of enforced people to choose tags for certain content. But then you come to a realization that user experience-wise, that's terrible because you're breaking the flow of people, right? It's the same with enforcing like image constraints, like this image has to be of this size. That kind of sucks, right? So So yeah, but tags wise, we have only these tags, and maybe over time, when I have the time, from family and work and kids and stuff, maybe, we can expand this to something more. Like, we could, in theory, design a proper tag system, but also, if we do design it, I would still confine it to the core keywords. So, for example, when you go to Stack Overflow, on Stack Overflow, you're going to find like Rust, then you're going to find like Rust question, you're going to find like Rust whatever crap, or Rust XYZ, right? And I actually disagree with that design philosophy, because you segregated the content so much, while that is in fact content that belongs to one tag, Rust. So even if we go ahead and design a proper system, you could say, Josh, I would still restrict it so that even if you, like, you go and you say, oh, Alex, I want to tag my article with something that doesn't exist in the system, I would still try to say, okay, actually this tag is this one. So I'm not going to allow you to create closure or Haskell dash bird, right? I think it makes it a little bit more, it makes the experience for the end user better if you can kind of aggregate them versus segregate them. Lombardini, yeah, I mean, I'm using all these rules for every project, yes. I have them as well. So for this project, and typically this is the Agents MD for me. So yeah, these are, I mean, for those who are using AI, I think it's important to have this pre-context shared. Lucky, my friend, good evening. Do you use any design library and layout system, or is it just years of experience? Because no, I don't use anything. I built, for Programming Network, I built my own, and again, I have to say, all of this is built inside of a stream. But no, I'm not using any libraries for that. The thing is, as I spoke many times, and I'm not going to repeat it again, I should probably record a video on YouTube for that. But no, I haven't used any built like an open source thing. Over time, we built this thing I called Yale, yet another interface library. That's why I called it Yale. And all of the components, we over time, as we needed them, built them together here in the stream. So we fundamentally own all of it. But as you can see, like, thing that I'm replacing now, because I no longer want to maintain it, is this use AJV form. So when was it? Maybe a couple of years ago, I built this use AJV form because of Fastify. Fastify uses JSON schema on the backend, right? So another JSON validator, AJV. So I kind of, back in the day, I built this library to consume, to work in isomorphic way. Fundamentally, because my backend uses this type of schema, I'm saying, okay, well, if I can make the library in the UI to kind of react the same and use the same validation, then in isomorphic way, we can share. Yeah, we can. Is this live, Tasia? Yeah, this is live. Yeah. Good evening. When you search for tags, do you just do a string search, or do you have something like embeddings to also find similar tags? Hey, free space. I don't have the embeddings, again, because there's no machine learning here and there's no custom tags, right? So tags are finite. There's, I believe, maybe around 300 tags in the platform. And I mean, keep in mind that I would be very like, if you ever decide to build something as large as social development platform for any reason, good evening, Soul, you have to be very pragmatic, right? You're not going to build Twitter type of features. And we have 2,500 users that signed up on Programming Network so far, but how many of those are active? Probably 10, right? So I'm not going to go and spend this very limited time I have for this stream to design a full-fledged Twitter, like machine learning based, because for embeddings you need. So no, short answer, no. Long answer is a bit more complex, right? So there's, but yeah. Until there is a need for a complex system, we prefer a simple system, right? So I think problems are solved when they arise, not prematurely, and then still they yield the same results, right? Bounty, my friend, good evening. Thank you for coming, man. But yeah, it's when you build something of this large on your own from infra, as I said to many of you, right? We also, this is our infrastructure, right? So we host everything in our own way, on our own server, right? So there's a lot of work here involved: backend, front-end, infrastructure, networking, security, and stuff. All of that is done practically by me. So that takes a lot of time and focus and many other things. A lot of discipline, if you may. Okay. But yeah, very nice questions. Thank you. That's very nice. Okay, let me. What was I doing? I have no idea what was I doing. Yeah, okay, so let's start the stream. Well, we have started it already, I guess. But let's do some work. So. Yeah, I mean, some of these abstractions are a little bit unnecessary. I don't know why. Why do we have this closure, if you may? But yeah, I don't know. Not very happy with this. That well. This platform is a platform for phishing. That's why it's called Programmer Network. It's a platform for finding fish on the internet. Yeah, this is actually really bad. Like, I would say. Let's kind of try printing that. Okay, so we get the data. Sure. Okay. My last name is Bond. My last name is Bond. My first name is James. I need some guidance. My last name is James. I need some guidance, sir. I'm a recent graduate, computer science. I need to get a job. How do I start with ESA? I mean, to be honest with you, like if you're the fact that you're asking a question in today's modern world or on where you should find resources, I would say that's very concerning. I then have to be a little bit rude here and challenge you. Like, did you not learn during your studies how to do a research? A little bit. That's always concerning to me. If you have studied for 4 years and then you're asking someone else where you should learn certain things, then I would say that is quite concerning, man. I mean, you have infinite resources on the internet to learn anything. So if you're having a hard time knowing where to learn things, that is I would say quite concerning. I don't think ever in history of the world, and I'm old enough to have been here for 20 years almost now, it's never been easier and more cheap and free. Knowledge is absolutely free today. Nobody cares about knowledge. So if you have a hard time finding resources where to learn anything, I would kind of maybe start raising some other questions, not related per se to that, because that should not be a problem to you or anyone else today. And thank you guys for your follows. And I'm sorry I'm a little bit slow now. Raz, I mean, the thing is, Raz, like, there's, the problem is, right, the thing, I don't think that question necessarily is raised because of my experience. I think a lot of people are asking the question because everybody's looking for a silver bullet, right? Which resource do you learn from is almost entirely irrelevant, right? Because, like, for example, if you want to learn what a function does, it is incredibly, let's just keep it very primitive. If you want to learn what a variable is, or what a shell sort does, or bubble sort, it is very difficult to find a resource that almost identically doesn't explain that. The only difference in resources, are you gonna like my face, and my voice, or do you like someone else? So fundamentally, I think when most people raise these questions, there's always a hope that there's some sort of a silver bullet that's going to speed that process up. But there's no way to speed the process of that up. You fundamentally have to code and practice and build things, and no resource that you buy will speed that up. You can buy any course on the internet, on Earth, buy any mentor on Earth. The difference in speed is going to be so marginally low that you would wish later on that you just watched YouTube. So there's very little correlation. But yeah, I was learning programming, from books 20 years ago or more when I was 17, 18. I'm 37 now, and even more 25 years ago, right? I had one book in certain subject, and that was sufficient, right? So it was not really about the book per se. It was about persistence. It was about continuity. It was about discipline. It was about building things, right? Today, no matter what resource I can suggest, chances that some person is going to follow that resource from start to end is marginally low. Like, for example, I can give you a stat. 70% of people who purchase courses on Udemy never even click start. So 7 out of 10 people on udemy.com who buy a course never even start the course, right? And then out of the 30% who do start a course, I don't exactly remember the stat, I encourage you to check it out, but I think marginally low number ever finish a course, right? So in simple words, it's not about the resource, it's about the person, right? You can find any resource you want, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make any difference, because programming is not about watching videos or watching other people do it. Programming is about you doing it, and that is where most people unfortunately fail. And there is no silver bullet there. So that's why I'm saying no matter what resource I suggest, it is completely irrelevant. It's not gonna do anything. So I would say focus on improving your skills of focusing and building things, and spend less time wasting time on which course I'm gonna watch, right? Or what person am I gonna watch online? Because it doesn't matter. If you watch me or anyone else, in that sense, it doesn't really matter, right? Okay. Tutorial hell, exactly. So you can of course learn on this stream very realistic things. I'm a realist, right? And stuff like that. So, and I can of course help you in whatever you need, no question about that, but you will not become programmer by watching me code, right? That's right. So it's literally Stack Overflow in humans' brains today. You could say that there's so much information, ironically, that it's damaging people from it's literally damaging Maya. Good evening, Maya. So there's no silver bullet. Like, if you're seeking for some sort of a majestic resource or anything like that, I would say that is meaningless. There's no such thing. You have to spend, it takes many years to become good at programming, to become an engineer. It takes even more years to become an engineer, because being engineer is a mindset. It's something that you have to understand. You have to learn how to ask right questions. So being an engineer has very little to do with writing code, and everything else to do with your thought process, etc., 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 right? And that is what takes time. You know, formulating your questions, your thoughts. And by the way, this AI is really, really bad now. I mean, typically it's amazing, but yeah, this is very bad. I mean, let's give it a chance, but we'll need to first. This code is terrible, and the implementation is pretty terrible, actually. Yeah, that's pretty bad, I have to say. But let's give it a shot. Let's because I don't feel like coding this now, to be honest. So let's try. Yeah, that kind of makes no sense. Yeah, let's see. YouTube. Okay, actually, you know what? Maybe just for the sake of this, let's kind of. I think this is. Yeah, like, I wonder, because now when we have this AI and all of this crap, I wonder what is the correct workflow for this. So actually, while we're answering these questions and chatting, let's actually, in fact, try to figure out a better solution for this. And when I say better, I don't mean code-wise. I mean UX-wise, because this part of the profile section has always actually been terrible. So let's kind of illustrate that. So this part of the profile section, I feel has always been pretty bad, UX-wise, potentially UI-wise as well. Let's try to discuss and figure out a better way to expose such UI with n number of different platforms that a user can add. AI is a routine killer. I don't know. I don't think it's a killer of anything. I think you know, it's more complicated than that, Ravaz. I think it's all about us and not the tool itself. So a tool can be terrible and can be useful at the same time. That boils down to you and how you embrace it, how you use it to empower yourself. So I would say that tool is not a living thing. This AI is like a hammer, like a jigsaw, like a saw, right? So it boils down to your discipline, your way of working, and how you utilize it. I also work as a tech lead at my work in, let's say, in technical leadership. I think that I use AI the same way I help my colleagues. There's really no difference. When I need to design a system or help my colleagues at work or customers or whatever to solve problem for them, I think there's very little difference between talking to this prompt now and people. In simple words, as I always say, the output of the AI is directly proportional to your input, and your patience and discipline and capability to articulate yourself and understand that better we are at explaining whatever we do to this, as I call it, regex on steroids, the better outcome is going to be. So at the end of the day, there's really no pride there. What we are trying to do here is offload key presses to a computer that's fundamentally superior in every way, speed-wise, to write these things. Because it's literally now, today, with this AI, it boils down to like understanding that you simply can't, as a human being, be faster than generating these files than the AI. But what you are way better at than AI is designing the system, because you know it, you built it thousands of times, etc., etc., etc. So it's not a matter of losing pride, like, oh, am I even writing my code? Of course you're writing your code. You are designing it, you are generating it, and then you're doing a massive amount of work to validate it, to interact back with the AI until it gets to a point where you're saying, okay, this is my code, right? So I find it quite fascinating tool, to be honest, and I hope it stays here forever, because we can then focus on building products and not building code. And code, it has no value. Code has always been liability. value is not in code. In fact, less code you write, the better for the business, right? Okay, so yeah, so this is kind of the part that I actually very much enjoy, and then designing it around it, right? All right, let's give it a shot. And while we do this, that's the beauty at least of this stream, then I can answer your questions. Is it worth using AI to learn basics? Sometimes I ask it questions to confirm. I mean, so Jake, I would say that it's very hard for you guys, the new guys, I would say that actually it's not very hard. Think about it this way. I think that people who used to learn math when calculators were introduced, or very first computers, I'm sure that they raised the same questions, like, hey, I'm now learning algebra 1 and 2 and basic math, should I use a calculator, right? And I think to some degree you can resist the urge, or you can act illogical and unreasonable, but sooner or later people will not be able to resist the urge. So in simple words, instead of asking a question, should I use AI to learn the basics, you have to ask the question, how can I use AI to learn the basics? Because you will use AI. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of logic, right? If I had AI and many other people 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, everyone would have used it. So all of these assholes today, my generation, like assholes from my generation and previous, was saying, oh, these juniors today, like, it's like, dude, you cannot say that, because if you had access to this amazing tool, of course that you would have used it, and you would have been shaped vastly differently today. So the fact that I haven't used AI when I was very young has nothing to do with me not wanting to use it. Of course I would have used it, right? So I don't think that, even though you're asking that, you have formulated that question almost in a sense that you have a choice. I don't think you have a choice. You have to use it. Now, how do you build discipline around it? I don't know. I cannot tell you that, and I don't think very genuinely that anyone on this earth can tell you that, because you guys are the first generation of programmers that have these tools available now, and nobody actually knows the product of that. So nobody knows how knowledgeable or you're going to be. Maybe you're going to become way better programmers than most of us, maybe not. But fundamentally, how much will it matter is also a question, right? Because you have these tools, and because they can do so much work, maybe we will simply, as we have done for many years and many decades so far, we will simply offload more knowledge to the computer and then less knowledge to the people, and people will need to maybe know bare minimum, with some exceptions of certain experts that you will need. So maybe that is the new future. So this is nothing new, man. This has nothing to do with AI. Programming has been fundamentally changing and transforming for decades. Go 30 years back, people used to write assembly and stuff like that, then C and Pascal, COBOL, C++, and then a few years later Java and C#, right? So we have been raising the abstraction bar over time, regardless of AI, because AI is just another yet abstraction, like in human natural language, right? So you have to use AI. I don't think you have a choice. It's just how you're going to use it. It's the responsibility is on you, unfortunately, right? Some of the knowledge will be more abstracted away. Yeah, I mean, sure, if for sure. I mean, look what I'm doing now, right? I mean, while I'm chatting to you, there's absolutely nothing fascinating about the task that I'm doing now. This task have been done millions of times. It has been done hundreds of times by me over past 15-20 years, and globally billions of web forms have been built, right? So this task that I'm generating now is a perfect candidate to be generated and automated. As I always say, anything that can be automated will and should be automated. So there is absolutely no joy building input fields that we have, or buttons, because we have done that billions of times. There is no joy in building yet another CRUD API that stores something in a database. That is fully automated already 15 years ago. 15 years ago, we were generating full-fledged APIs out of OpenSpec API, Swagger, and stuff like that, right? So there's no joy in these things. Of course, if you're younger, if you're more new into the industry, you might feel like a hacker building an API, but fundamentally, there is nothing fascinating about it. It's like send a request somewhere, talk to some services, assemble some response, and respond to something or someone, right? That's it. So these things should in fact be automated, so humankind, all of us, can move and do more interesting things, invent new technologies, new ways, new protocols, new devices and stuff like that, right? If you thought that we're going to be manually building APIs for the end of humanity, I mean, you haven't thought well enough, right? So there is nothing like when you look at this crap, this is basic code. There's some hooks, there's some utilities, there's some HTTP requests, we get values from some inputs, we send them to the backend, and boom, that's it, right? So nothing really fascinating about it, right? Nothing. Yeah, sure, and it should, right? It should. These things exist for the sake of business, not for the sake of code, right? And everything that business needs is basically business defines the needs, not the other way around. Don't forget that computers reinvented for economy, not for building websites. And then, of course, eventually so that is okay. Let me read more questions. Some of the yeah, you don't have to do anything left. The question is just, yeah, exactly, true. I think only downside is gap between us. You're already good without it, and we're learning coding with it, which I think makes us one step behind because we're kind of dependent on it. I mean, again, Ravaz, yes, you're absolutely right. But then again, that just means that you guys are a little bit trapped in between having this amazing tool and your own discipline, your own ability to resist it. And that is hard. And again, that's why I say I would lie if I tell you that I know what it is. I can just tell you out of the deep honesty that any generation throughout history, like if we had these tools when we were at the spot where you are, it would be absolutely disingenuous to say we wouldn't have used it. Of course we would have used it. So the fact that, for example, I might know more than someone else it's just a matter of luck, or I don't even know if you can call it luck. It's just a matter of circumstances of time, nothing else, right? So you know, it's like, again, nobody writes assembly anymore, right? And we used to. So Altman is saying GPT 5.1 is out, the benchmarks put it in. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a salesperson, so he can say whatever he wants. But again, as I always say, you can, no matter how much you optimize these models, their quality is mostly bound to your input, not so much anymore to the actual to the model itself, right? So they can indefinitely improve them, but if your input is terrible, nothing's really gonna help you much, right? So I would say that the best optimization for these models is in fact your input, not the model itself, right? You can do whatever you want, train these models, get better data in, whatever it is, but at the end of the day, it's all gonna be for nothing if your input sucks ass, right? You might be reliant on a tool, but does that matter? Exactly. I mean, I don't think anybody knows, right? So the thing is, like, I'm not a content creator, so I'm not here to please any of you. I'm here to share my opinion. As I say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. that is the ultimate truth. So I'm not here. I think that there's so many opinions online by your favorite content creator, your favorite streamer, whatever, but fundamentally it's all just pure opinions. For the fact, only thing that we know is that we don't know anything right now. We don't know how the schools are going to operate in the future, how these new generations are going to evolve with these amazing tools. Are they going to be absolute geniuses, or are they going to be dumb like fuck because whenever they have to think, they just ask the AI? Nobody knows. And I think this is going to be very much dependent on the systems that each individual country creates. So there's so many unknowns, because imagine you go to school today with this amazing tool. I mean, how incredible that is. I remember in my elementary school, I had to go literally sit in the library, pray that there's a book that I need, and if it's not, I have to ask the lady, when is, John gonna return the book I needed? And today you go to school and like in microseconds, you get the response to anything. How fascinating that is. But nobody knows the result of that long term. I certainly don't, right? So this is kind of my view. Nobody knows, right? The only thing we know for certain is that things are changing. And the only thing we for certain know that we should do is evolve over time, focus on the things we can do, and focus on the things that we can affect, and not worry too much about that's really what it is. Only thing that I try to do every day is I try to focus on myself, and that's really it. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I don't want to talk too much. Actually, I haven't done anything yet since the stream started, but fundamentally that's exactly what it is. I think I hate to. I actually don't watch news. I don't read the tech news or whatever. I don't care how many people got fired somewhere. Not that I don't empathize with these people. It's just these types of things don't affect me in any way. They don't help my life. They don't make my life worse. So I try to spend energy being either building something or being with my family and kids or whatever, or playing an instrument or whatever. I think it's just these predictions are, they have no value. Even if I'm right in everything or wrong in everything, it still doesn't change anything in my life. And that is the thing, right? There is absolutely nothing that these truths or these falses are making in my life. It doesn't help me. It doesn't do anything to me. So only thing you can really do is for your own sanity is like say, okay, let me just evolve. Let me not project things. Let me not expect that the world is gonna change around me. I have to follow what's happening in the world, what other people are doing, and that's it. That's a realistic approach to things. Everything else is just bullshit, right? So that's how I think about it. Phil, my friend, good evening. I think what we also gonna do, we're gonna make this on demand. So right now this kind of sucks ass. This kind of what is it called? Let me actually give me 1 second. I see what the problem is. Shit, because this is what we expect. Man, I watched that movie several times. Maybe not past couple of years, but ironically, there's so much truth in that movie. It's actually insane. Give me 1 second. What is plubberous? I don't know that word, I'm sorry. Plubberous. Ah, fuck. Oh, yeah, sorry. No, unfortunately, I have not. No. I haven't, but I have it, I wrote it down on my e-ink. I have it on my to-do. Yes, for sure. For sure, man. I didn't forget about it. I promise. Ah, shit. Yeah, I remember. I swear to God, I have it. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, I have a small baby, like a 3-month-old baby, a son 6.5 years old. So to be very frank with you, let's just say that time is, except this stream now that I just come because some of you guys are like here regularly and stuff, and I recently came back after a year of not streaming. I just, yeah, this is kind of right now. If I stream, that's the only like hobby I can do. So what the fuck, man? No, Mr. Robot I watched. Yeah. Mr. Robot was a very, very good show. Hi, Outplayed. Hi, buddy. You good? Okay, so let's use AI. So, yeah, this is not a... This is... Yeah, I actually want to move away from this and do something else. I have a feeling I've been just reading chat and doing nothing. So, yeah, so let's actually move away from this crap. It is honestly, yeah, not, yeah, this is almost depressing looking at this crap at this point. So, so they all have to start with uppercase. So let's ensure that our logic is correct as the API expects each platform as such. Good channel. Do you have an opinion on app write? To be very frank with you, I don't know what app write is. Let me check. Developers Cloud. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Developer Cloud. So keep in mind, no, I don't have it because I host my own stuff. Actually, I have my own infrastructure here. I call it a mini lab. If you want, I haven't fully documented it, but this is kind of. So I basically have my own server here. So this is kind of where I host Programming Network and all of my stuff that's not commercial, right? So I don't really use the cloud. I have my own Kubernetes cluster where I, yeah, host all of the things I have. So, but the website looks, of course, like all other websites today. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I write my own backends. I don't lock myself to any vendors, right? And I'm an old-fashioned programmer, so I'll probably die not doing this, right? And I'm not, by the way, don't misunderstand me, more power to you. I'm not saying this is bad or good. If it works, it works. and it probably works really well. It's just, yeah, for me, an API, a backend is such a simple concept, such a quick concept to build that if you're not running it on Hetzner or DigitalOcean or something, I think it's almost tragedy. So, of course, if you really ship fast, fail fast, if you want to build a product, you have commercial product, a good idea, of course, you should go GCP, AWS, Azure, not worry about, because infrastructure, of course, is not a feature. Infrastructure is a liability. Nobody cares about infrastructure except nerds and platform engineers. But I'm mostly talking about in the context of if you're building something that's maybe not commercial or something that might become, bare metal is still amazing. I mean, tools have evolved so much past couple of years, from Docker and Docker Compose and Docker Swarm and Kubernetes, and you have open source variations of Terraform, infrastructure as code. You have amazing, Grafana and Prometheus and Loki, and then you have things like Kubernetes clustering, like Postgres clusters using PG native operator. You have Longhorn for distributed storage. You have Valero for backups. You have all of these amazingly built open source tools that if you have the will and desire to learn a bit, it's quite fascinating that these platforms, like you could build your own platform like this. But again, let's be very careful and pragmatic. I'm not suggesting you do this or you do this at home because you want to make money. If you want to make money, if you have a good startup idea, you have some investment, either angel investors or whatever, of course, go with the cloud and don't think about infrastructure. Infrastructure is a massive waste of time, and ideally, you don't want to deal with it at all if you don't have to, right? So, yeah. I'm actually very sorry what a large response. You literally just asked me, do you know about it? And I could have said no. But, many of you here are new, so I try to provide a little bit more reasonable response than just saying no, because no is also not really a very useful answer, right? So, but again, never get discouraged what other people think. We all find things that work for us, that align with our own values, our own experience, and that's the only thing that matters. There's really so many solutions to so many problems, and you just have to pick, right? So you can do my cluster here is almost as secure, except physically, as the cloud, right? So security is also a misunderstood concept. Security is possible everywhere. It's just a matter of desire to make it so. But yes, I agree. It's not to say that what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't, when you say it that way, it almost implies that the alternative is not secure. That's my whole point. So both are secured. And again, if you're willing to pay a bit more money for the cloud, definitely go for it. If you're not willing to pay the money and you don't have it or you don't want to do it, and there are many reasons, then yeah. Do you provide career advice? Yeah, I honestly, appreciate the question. I don't know what you mean by that. Just if you have a question, ask it. If I have something reasonable to say, I'll say it. Otherwise, I'll say I don't know. So I'm not some sort of a majestic person that can advise on everything, right? If you have a specific question, please just ask it. Yeah, for sure. The thing is, I don't disagree, right? Security, there you get a lot of value from the cloud. My main point is just to be careful to not make them mutually exclusive. It's not one or the other. Both of them are great and terrible at the same time, given the set of circumstances, set of knowledge, set of in-house knowledge, people you have, etc., right? So there's many use cases for one or the other, and of course, if you don't know, infrastructure is another job. Although, yeah, that's typically what your platform team does. Yes, exactly. So you typically have a platform team, platform engineers, and it doesn't matter if it's on-prem, it doesn't matter if it's physical that you have in-house or a cloud. You typically have people that maintain that, right? And the trade-off is very simple. If you have your own bare metal servers, you need more people, but you could say you pay less for the cloud. If you use cloud, you need less people, but you pay more for the cloud. And then you have to make a trade-off, what is cheaper for you, right? So there are always multiple solutions, and you have to find the one that works for you, right? So it's not one excludes the other. They both exist in the, for example, not every organization on earth can host things in the cloud. You have organizations with high security requirements, data has to be localized literally in a certain place, right? Or data has to be somewhere. So, Jesus Christ, man, what the fuck are you doing, man? So we're saying that DevOps will not be replaced. I don't think that anyone will be replaced, man. I don't think that's. I think we need to be careful to not be absolute here. I think people are consciously choosing to use word replace in an absolute sense. None of us are getting replaced. It's just the amount of us, arguably, is changing. So it is inevitable already that you need less developers per organization to achieve the same things that you had 5 years ago. This is not a matter, this is objectively true, we all see it. But so let's not use word replace as in a literal sense. When people say people will get replaced by AI, let's not be literal and say literally every single person on this earth is going to be. No, that's not what we mean, or what people mean, hopefully, when they say it. It's already clear that what you can achieve with 2 people today, you needed, let's say, 5 people 4 years ago. So if you're not seeing this, then your organization either doesn't use AI properly or you, but this is true, right? So yes, already we are seeing that we need less people. Now, let's be clear here. Maybe because of this vibe coding tools like Lovable and stuff, maybe we will create more jobs. So that's also possible. So maybe we will still not reduce the amount of jobs, but what we will certainly reduce is the number of people per team that you need. And I see it, I hire people in my team, I work in a tech lead of 6 people, and we simply need less people objectively than before. That doesn't mean that, other companies will not be hired, but the point is you simply don't need as many developers per team, per organization as you needed before. And I think that's the point. No, look, I think Finsby, yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. I don't disagree. I just think it's very, like Harari said, right? If you read any of the philosophy or whatever, it's very important to agree on the definitions. In order to have a constructive intellectual conversation, it's very important for parties in that conversation to understand the fundamental meaning of the things that they're saying. So when we say AI is going to do this, or if we say X is going to do Y, we need to confine the space in which we take that as to which degree do we take that definition of things. So when I believe, at least I hope, when people say AI will X, that is not an absolute statement. It was the same with farmers. Farmers still exist, but 130 years ago, 98% of them were shoveling the earth manually. Now less than 2% of them are doing that, because 98% of the things are done by machines, tractors, and stuff. So yes, farmers still exist, but to what degree relative to what their job was 130 years ago. So when we say replace, this is what we mean. Not like, okay, we're gonna just remove this role out of the universe. No, I mean that is trust me. Let me tell you one very positive thing that should give many of you a little bit of relief. At the Dream Data where I work, I've built this almost like Google Analytics solution. We have our own tracking solution. and I run that project and built it with my CTO. That means that sometimes I have to jump on a call with customers almost on a weekly basis to help them implement tracking. I have spoken to customers that are worth billions of dollars. When you see their websites, when you see the quality of their code, when you see their apps, that is so far from automating in any way, let alone AI, that you shouldn't be worried. Because never forget that there is literally hundreds of millions of websites right now that nobody is going to just go and rewrite from scratch. Because if companies did this, they would be out of job very quickly. So never forget that we have millions of products that were built past 30, 40 years that somebody gonna have to maintain. Because people are kind of doomsayers a little bit, like, yeah, it's over. Man, somebody is gonna have to maintain millions and millions of apps, products, infrastructure, shitty APIs, and etc, 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 right? So I would not be, even though I am critical and I'm trying to be objective and I say, yes, AI is here, AI will change things. So it's also silly to say, no, it's not going to change anything. Of course it will. But it's not, we don't have to be absolute. We don't have to be like one or the other. Objectively, it will change things. It is already changing things. It's just the truth is somewhere in the middle, not like, one or the other. People are just being way too absolute, which results in yeah. No, I mean, yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. It's interesting discussion, and I think okay. This is actually almost done, man. I'm just I'll just at this point I'll just acknowledge that this stream is not going to be very productive code-wise, but it's actually fine. Lastly, let's ensure that we actually do a post every time we update, add the individual platform, so we don't have to click save at the bottom of the page. Yeah, it's again, like, I would just say, being a stoic myself and trying to focus on myself and results at my work, I would say, yeah, no matter what happens, it's not in our control. So really the only thing we can do is just better ourselves every day, try to be better at what we do, and that's fundamentally it. Everything else is just Chica, my friend, good evening. So if you can't really control something, then better put your energy elsewhere, right? Well, and I think that is typically what successful people do. You focus on things you can do, and you ignore it, and you don't waste energy on things you can't do. That's just right. And there's so many things we can do. So better let's focus on these things, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I have very high standards for code. And this is really, I mean, this whole piece is, I don't know. I just can't take this as such, even though, yeah, AI is amazing, and I could chat to you guys while Agent is writing this crap, and a lot of it is good, sure, but yeah, I don't know, not super pleased with this crap, man. Okay, let's maybe clean it up and then do something else. The code is a matter of taste, right? And as you write more code year by year in your career, you develop a sense of that taste, right? So it's nothing really to do with AI. This type of code that it wrote is probably on average better than most code. Right? Yeah. Let's actually go through it. I'll show you, right? So it's not about design principles. It's not about domain-driven development or anything like that. So that it already did because I have a agents file that it follows. So it kind of, so structurally it's fine. But let's see. Let me let it finish and then we'll do it, right? Let me just test this. LinkedIn, save. Yeah. Okay, so I think is it done? Yeah, let's see. Okay, so I think it's done. So let's kind of go through it together. So, yeah, where is it? Let me just close a bunch of this distraction here. Yeah, so it's this section here, right? So when you look at these handlers here, right? So I would say that the core issue that I have, so the rest of the stuff you could say is, let's say, fine. It's what it is. It's not. Yeah, I just have this very morbid mind of what I. But this part here feels wrong, right? And this feels wrong. First, there's also manual casting here. So whenever you stumble upon as in your code sucks. I think this is a very simple rule you should embrace. There's some exceptions where you often have to cast, but if you have to do this, your code sucks, right? You should never need to do this. So there's an issue somewhere else if you need to do this, right? So that is issue number one. Issue number two, we are copying objects here for some reason. Let's see why. There's literally, this is completely useless. There's no point doing this because we're not. You see, this is the problem with AI. It made a copy, so it used the spread operator here. It copied this object, which is going to have a value, whatever, here. But we're not really, well, actually, we are mutating it here. So I suppose it made a copy because here it's going to pass it down to unchange. But then why is this unchange mutating that at all, right? It should just return the new value, right? Right? So that kind of sucks. And yeah, it's just massively useless matter. Also like casting here, asking this question if it's there instead of just early returning if it's not. This could have been a function, a utility function imported from somewhere, like a repository from some repository, right? So let's just tell it that objectively this sucks ass, right? Okay, let's try to elaborate it. You're doing way too many things. Simply suck. You're manually casting values, not early returning. Deleting a property of an object using delete instead of doing it more declaratively. Some of the code could be just simple utility functions, etc. Let's see what it does. I mean, of course, it's gonna agree with me because it's trained. It's been prompted to agree with everybody, and that is the problem of it as well. It's just gonna say you're absolutely right, Alex. That is a great suggestion. You're absolutely right. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay, let's see. What is this platform name? What the fuck? Let's see like what it does now. Yes, it does. Yes. But it sometimes ignores those, right? Yeah, I mean, you can see what it's doing. It's still casting. What the fuck are you doing? Stop, please stop manually casting. It's absolutely terrible. You see, so this is... Okay, let's see what we need to kind of manually intervene here. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ah, never mind. Okay, actually, let's leave it like that, even though... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, also not to my liking. Let's use a reduce for this. Yep. Exactly. Why are we casting this crap, man? Shouldn't need to cast this, man. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. Mm-hmm. I actually don't know why I did this. I mean, it literally made them now. Nah. What the fuck, bro? I mean, this is more vague. Okay, let's give it a shot. I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at the code now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little bit better. Popular map. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see if it actually works. Delete. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. I think that is fine. We could ideally improve the UX of this and just implement some sort of a like reactive thing, so we don't actually have to go and click save here, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I guess that's fine. We could be a little bit, we could do something and generate some tests here, but let's see. Okay, let's I don't know. Let's see what we've done here. Okay. Yeah. Are you using TRPC? No, I'm not. No. Interesting. I mean, we used to code a lot more when I was streaming actively before this AI thing, right? So, but I mean, code, just note always, and this is maybe probably the most important lesson for all of us, right? Is that code is like everything else in life or this industry is no exception to change, right? Just as agriculture and mining and flying and biking and everything else in life changes, so does programming. And I think that is probably the most important reminder or a lesson for everybody. Don't ever think that there's exception to our job. So programming, just think about what programming was considered 20 years ago, 30 years ago, right? And then walk backwards. We went from, assembly to C and C++ and Pascal and COBOL and all of these languages, Haskell, F#, a bunch of stuff. There is my Doru. I love you, man. Thank you so much, dude. I need to buy you coffee tomorrow. But, right, so I think it would be very naive and very childish to assume that we programmers are somehow an exception to this rule. So in simple words, like, what we call programming today and what we called it 10 years ago and what we're going to call it 10 years from now, we don't even know what that's going to look like, right? So don't ever get deceived or put down by some basement dweller or some moron to tell you, oh, that's not that. What is programming is a living thing, man. So is design, so is everything else, right? So that's just a fact of life. Everything changes, and you have to be on top of that change and just change with it. You just change with it, you grow with it, and that's it. So who knows where programming is going to be in 10 years from now? I mean, it's almost impossible to even comprehend that, right? Border. Do you think cybersecurity sector is like less prone? I don't think anything is less or more prone, right? There's no, cybersecurity is not cybersecurity is also IT as much as anything else is, right? So cybersecurity typically in most cases is a checklist of things that you have to check for. So for majority of platforms out there, security really means, okay, have we went through this checklist? Have we rate limited the API? Have we protected against CSR? Like, there's just a list of things that you need. And of course, I mean, then there's a deeper thing than that, right? But I think that everything is affected. Now, quantifying it would be, quantifying it would be, of course, difficult. But I don't think that anything is less or more prone. I think it's all kind of the same. But again, that's what I think. And you know, does it make it true? It doesn't. So I think a lot of things. So sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong, like I guess everyone else. So okay, let's see. Probably gonna get some errors. I expect the linter to fail, but you know, let's see. I would expect also tests to fail. Yeah, and they do. Objective quality. What am I working today, Doru? Just was fixing something in the profiles. You know, we have all these potential like platforms you can add to your profile, like GitHub and stuff. So I just kind of redid this, and then it was kind of very. I think this stuff that I kind of did it last night actually, but a huge refactor of something. So not much of the design, Doru, to be honest with you now. I think let me just see. Is this the one I created with wrong? But yeah, we're gonna kind of move to something else now. Just give me 2 seconds here. Response. Yeah, that is a bit weird. Error. Oh yeah, because we are storing the yeah. HTML. Give me just 1 second. And then I have a few notes that I wrote on my tablet here that we need to fix, and we're gonna proceed with that now, and hopefully I can then merge this big ass. I also done some tiny changes on the platform, you know, just reacted to feedback from people. Like I've added, if I go to production now, and if I go and log out, you can see before there were these 2 buttons that were apparently very confusing to people. Like which state am I in? Now I just made it tabs, so it's kind of more clear that you're either signing up. Then I also added the forgot password thing last night, so we're gonna kind of I just at one point in time there was a regression. I just removed this view from the page. So we're gonna oh man, I should probably end the stream. We should play some games. Let's maybe see in an hour. Maybe if I end the stream, let's play some game together. Yeah, let's see actually, Dory, if you have the time, just if you're doing something on the side. Yeah, maybe we do, yeah. Sure, man, sure. Let's see. By the way, Doru, I'm gonna be from home tomorrow and then I'm gonna join the event. Just FYI. Because it's been a long week, and if I come to the office tomorrow, then I'll be just exhausted to join that Christmas party, just so you know. And then we're gonna test this end to end. Let me just see what else did I write on my e-ink guy. My favorite new friend. My favorite new tablet. So amazing. Early stream then, well, I mean, no, not really. I have to work, right? I'll just work from home. And then we have a Christmas party to Folks is the designer in my team, and my friend Doru, his name is Doru. So I'm just telling him now that I'll work from home tomorrow. It's been a long week, a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions. Yeah, okay. So there's kind of 2 things that I want to fix, but wait, what are we doing now? Oh, I see. Just run the tests myself here. Alrighty, they pass now. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Let's try committing now and see if our Husky hooks are gonna pass all the tooling before we can push that. And then there are a couple of things. There's one critical to actually think in our core Yale library. So if I go there and we do like NVMUs and then we do PMPM storybook here, we can kind of see that, yeah, let's actually take a look at that very quickly. I don't actually remember, but one thing that I did, so I have my own implementation of TipTap, which I believe is one of the most awesome on the internet you can find anywhere, because I put a lot of effort and design into it. Not design like UI design, but a system design in it. But in one of the recent versions, they I believe changed the API, so something with the autofocus got messed up. So let's actually maybe take a look at that. TipTap index. And that's quite a critical bug, because I had to literally disable autofocus in the product because of autofocus is messed up here. Okay, so let's switch to a new session, and now obviously it would be in one of the recent versions. My assumption, TipTap has been changed, and it might be that the autofocus might have been also changed. For some reason, this effect doesn't work properly. And actually, I cannot just tell it that it doesn't work properly. That actually makes no sense. So let's actually go to, let's find a couple of places in our product. Let's actually go to feed, and let's just go, if I recall, to somewhere down here. Yeah, here, thoughts, TipTap, nah, did a share thought editor. Yeah, exactly. So autofocus here, I'm gonna say, Josh, my friend, thank you very much for being here, dude. I hope you learned something or had fun at the very least. So thank you for being here, man. Okay, let's now go. Let's actually let's just log in here locally. Cool. So let's try to make this fail. Perfect. There, it's perfect. It's failing. So let's actually first check the TipTap GitHub issues. I have a feeling that this could be an issue that I'm not the only one who has. So let's search for it here. And I think this could be one of these things. Cannot X. If you pass element null to your editor options, however later in the mount function, which will mount the editor, the editor will not be allowed to sure. Yeah, but this shouldn't really affect us. So let's actually see, because we're not really using any server-side rendered stuff like that crap. I mean, let's read the source code of this library. I think that's probably the best we can do. So let's, let's search for the string. Yeah, but where is this, man? The editor view. Oh, cannot access view, I see. Okay. So let me just go back here. Yeah, so this is kind of what we get, right? This is the error. So if we get back here somewhere, so the editor view is not available. So if we look at their source code, the editor view is not available. Okay, let's read the source code now. So let's see what's happening. So we have some proxy, basically, almost like almost like object-defined property API, same stuff essentially. It's just the proxies in your API. So if the editor view is not initialized, if it is initialized, we return the same one. If it's not, they wrap this in a proxy, then get some getters and setters, fine. Yeah, but this doesn't help me much. Let's see if it helps the. Okay, what is it suggesting? Wait. I mean, I don't actually, to be very frank with you, I absolutely don't care. If there's some built-in stuff that I don't have to use manually, I mean, hell yeah, more power to that. But let's see, I don't remember, I don't know. But, you know, if that's the case, I mean, more power to that. I shouldn't need to be dealing with this anyway on my own. Oh, super. Is this really true? I'm not so sure. Let's see. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Sure. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yep. I like that. Sure. Yeah, maybe that simplifies the API a bit. I mean, yeah, I get it. Sure. All good. Okay, that's that. I mean, this would be amazing if it's this easy under quotes. That would be fantastic. Yeah. That would be superb. That would be superb. What? What did I do? Really? Are you for real? Oh, come on, man. Don't. Oh, no, never mind. All good. Very good. Okay. I was kind of. There's so many different repositories I have for this project that let me actually close this one. Okay. So, okay. A bit weird, but fine. Tip tap. Sure. Yes, we removed our own effect that was messing things up. Great. Okay, cool. So essentially we're just passing it down to the config. I mean, yeah, that's great if it works. Okay, let's actually go to our, I think we have our storybook open, do we? Yeah, I mean, it seems to be fine, I guess. Right? Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Just have something on my phone. I think that is fine. Yeah. I think that is fine. Image upload. Okay, let's just see a couple of states here. Image upload. Sure. Yeah, fuck that. Meaningless. Okay. I mean, that would be awesome. Let's run the tests here. I don't know if I have any tests because this is a kind of abstraction around the existing libraries. So yeah, we don't have any tests for that. Now, when tests are so cheap to implement using AI, it's kind of almost a shame we don't. But yeah, let's not get led astray here. Let's just fix this. Let's just, yeah, because we have auto release on our CI, because we need to release this as a library. So that's very good. And then we need to install the new version in our front-end project. So that's why it's important we use this feat prefix to the commit. Because the release please library, which is built by that Google maintains, they kind of trigger on that. Ah, shit. Changelog, what? Okay, we're gonna fail because there's what changelog, man? Changelog. Hi, what's the best app for beginners to start making? Yeah, that's a very broad question, my friend. Well, also I'm not a game developer, so I'm probably not the most competent to respond that. But you need to expand on that question. What type of games? Browser games, mobile games, desktop? What programming language? There's no such thing as app for building games. You need to at one point you need to write some code, right? So you need to kind of just a little bit, if you may, expand a bit on your question, because you know, how good answer I can give, it really is fully bound to the quality of your question, right? Vague the question, vague the answer, right? Let's say 3D PC games. Like RNG said, Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I guess. I mean, let's just first rephrase. Building video games requires. The prompt isn't good enough. Exactly. So let me just rephrase. So building video games is a very long process, right? So meaning just like building web apps and something complicated, it requires a lot of time, because building a game per se is, first, building a game that's fun is incredibly hard. Second, there's just a lot of things to find in a game. But if you already know that, that is perfectly fine. Then ignore this stuff that I'm saying. Note that, yeah, you can use, I think Unreal Engine 5 is a good suggestion, and I don't think you need any other suggestion, right? So I would say that is what companies use today to build games. And if you want to become, if you have a dream of becoming a game developer, which is a very hard career, then that's probably the closest you should go. You should work with, right? Okay, pull requests. I guess release please has bumped the version automatically. Yes, beautiful. Let's wait for the CI, then we push this to npm, and then we install it in the other project, and we hope it works. Yeah. Okay, well, that will inevitably pass. I have no doubts about that. So let's actually, yeah, that's also fine. We don't need to wait for all the statuses to complete. Let's just bypass that. We're gonna say yes, beautiful. Let's then go to actions. That's kind of one manual step here that, you know, it's fine. Not super proud about it, but, you know, I'm the only one maintaining these libraries and building them, so it is also fine that there is an actual manual step to deploy this. That's beautiful. And then now we're gonna go to this guy here. We'll find our programmer network library, programmer network Yale. We're gonna bump this to 1.70. Teja, thank you very much for signing up at Programmer Network. That's very kind of you. Let me just sign in. I'm a Python user in default, and I want to extend my knowledge to make a fun video. I mean, great, man. I mean, I'm not gonna be here to discourage you, right? It's just a note that saying I just want to build fun video games is a very brave statement. So you're absolutely brave to say that, and you know, more power to you. Give it a shot. But just building games is you know, I would say there's no. Yeah, what can I say? Just note it takes effort, right? And it's, yeah, okay, let me just stop myself there. Let's just say that it takes a little bit of an effort, like, okay. So let's wait for this to be published to npm, and then maybe we can mark that as user effect is not defined. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, never mind. It seems to be working. Huh. Okay. Oops. Cool. Cool. Did you... Yeah, let's check it on npm. Did we actually deploy? We did. Beautiful. Okay. Let's now do this. All right, superb. Let's do a little reload here. Let's maybe, just for the sanity's sake, let's restart the Docker container. Restart the Docker container. Restart the Docker container. Restart the Docker container. Restart it. Let's actually restart. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do something like this. Let's just run our shell script here. Cool. Okay, is this thing still farting out? Shouldn't be. It's auto-focusing. Yeah. Nice. Okay, good. Great. I think that's it. Total. Yeah, thank you very much, man. Make sure you sign up. You know, we're building this together as a community. So, you know, if you're sick of AI generated content on Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff, and you want to just talk to a small community for now. Nice. Thank you very much, man. Thanks. You know, it's pretty boring still, but you know, hopefully over time, as we build it with the limited time we have, it's going to become more fun. So, but thank you, man. Thank you for signing up. That's very kind of you. Okay, what did we do with the API? Shit, okay. Yeah. So we'll kind of need to deploy the API as well, because I've basically restructured some of the custom errors, or at least the validation error now to yeah, so it's no longer an AJV error. Validation error, blah, 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 blah. Sure. Yeah, man, thank you for being here, dude. Of course, man. It is the streaming. The only value for me of streaming is chatting to you people and having fun. So I would say it goes both ways. Yeah, man, thank you. I'm very happy that you're here as well. So thank you, dude. That's very nice. Front. Okay. So let's this is good. But actually we fixed that. That's good. I didn't know the TipTap has its own default thing. So I'm very happy about that. Very good. That was a regression that actually turned out to be fixed better than my own custom solution for the editor I had. So that is a nice one. This is going to be a massive PR with a potential of new regressions, but unfortunately, with the lack of time I have to kind of do a bit risky things for the sake of velocity, if you may. In simple words, you know, when you have limited amount of time to build something like this, you have to, you know, rely on your skills and your gut, because otherwise, you know, I only have few hours a week to work on this, so I try to trust myself maybe more than I should. Max, my friend, good evening. Thank you for coming, dude. How's life? How are you? Actually, this is just triggering me a bit. No need to live through these like warnings. Let's just upgrade. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, this platform is a little bit of an exception, right, because it's a massive project, and to make it more complicated, it's not that I'm building it only on my own. That's not even the complexity, because I've been doing this for so many years. Add the other complexity to it is that the only time when I build it is really inside of the stream, so it's kind of, it cannot be any worse, you know, circumstance time-wise. So it's kind of, so that's why, of course, I would be very careful. So this, like what I'm doing here now with these bunch of these changes and stuff, let's just say it, right, don't do this at home, because again, the circumstance here is very different. And you know, even though code-wise this platform is amazing and I'm very proud of it, so I still build it in a very proud way. Like, if you, no matter what we go through, it is very good. But you know, the thing with code is no matter how good the code quality is, oftentimes when you need to build things in a nature such as this, there's just a higher chance to introduce regressions. So you can see, I mean, when you look at this change set, right, I've just changed 28 forms from my own in-house built-in validation library to, and I no longer want to maintain it. So as you can see, I've changed it to something else. And of course, luckily, everything is tested as well, but that doesn't change the fact that you can still have, right? So I've tested every single of 28 forms, of course, using AI. I didn't write these tests manually. But you know, that is the, you know, and that's kind of the calculated risk. And I know that I'm gonna break some tiny thing somewhere, but then I'm gonna provide a massive amount of clarity code-wise to majority of these places. So you know, and then eventually, you know, that regression is gonna surface. Hopefully, it's not gonna be a large one. And then, so yeah, so it's kind of really about being fine with the outcome, right? I would say. Let me just commit. I have a bunch of these repositories. Same, and same. Just a long day at work. Then been with my son and my went after work like every day. Picked up my older son from school. Been with a baby, with the little one, with my wife a bit. Yeah, just standard stuff, man. Exactly, pretty much, exactly. Okay, and then if I look at my tablet, so I think we actually fixed this, one of the bugs. That's good. Let me just take my handwritten notes, because I prefer either paper or this amazing new tablet I got. So expose reset password on landing page, ensure that all forms work, social profiles under profile settings. So actually, let me just, so we've kind of, let's say, done that. So check all tip-tap forms, missing edit content we didn't, fix autofocus, check, improve forms accessibility. Okay, so next thing that I saw during this refactor is if I, let's say, go to if I go to my dashboard and meetups and edit, and we go into edit mode, we're actually missing the content for this, which is fine. So let's kind of start figuring out what the issue with that is and start fixing it. So if we search for tip-tap in here, editor content maybe. Okay. I think plan mode is critical. Plan mode for me is the mode in which I stay the most time on. I think plan mode should be your default mode, right? because for the most part, when you interface with the AI, you should be in the plan mode. And then eventually, when it's clear to it what it is it's supposed to do, then you should say, okay, try building this incrementally while I observe what you're doing, right? So that I have found is, for me, the most, other than that, AI is pretty bad. So if you just give it surface level information and it just starts writing things, the outcome of that is going to be really bad. Okay, so what has actually happened here? Give me a second. Let me check one thing. So so for some reason, let's debug this. So the editor ref or something like that seems to be messed up now. So let's actually see here, because there is content for this. Description is not defined. What? Current. What? Give me a second. All right, interesting. Okay, very good. Okay, okay, cool. Okay, so let's see. So something that somewhere has been messed up a little bit, which is okay. I'm fine with that. So let's actually see about it. Handle is like, there's some mutations here. Dot contents, I suppose we're gonna have an editor in here. Sure. Okay. Error. Okay. Let me just actually double check that. On update, okay, so if we actually get over here. Oh, I see. Okay. So I think we might have, by accident maybe or not, let's see. So if we go to, okay, let me actually do one thing. So for some reason, the tip tab content in edit mode is not set here at all, and potentially in several other forms that we recently refactored. So take a look at, as that's where it actually works. Just kind of because I want to finish maybe this before I end the stream. So let me try to just yeah, because that is kind of correct, right? Okay. I would say, Max, if you try to treat the tool as in this context and your human colleagues the same, you will understand that fundamentally there's really no difference, and the quality of your input is fundamentally has the greatest value in the model optimization, because no matter how much they optimize certain models, the crappy input can degrade all of that, right? So the best way to ensure that the model you're using is good is you yourself and your input, right? So that I would say is, yeah. Okay, let's see kind of what went wrong with some of these massively AI-made systematic refactors, because I think it failed maybe to have this effect. So when the actual form loads, but I would expect my tip tab to deal with that internally, not need to do this outside, because I mean my tip tab should do this. Maybe we can check it, but this is something I expect to happen there. Let's see. Now I'm confused. Okay, AI is confused. Well, at least it's honest. Okay, fair enough. Let me actually then do this myself. So what we have the taught content. And then we had the editor ref. Yeah. Then we get the actual content. And then we call set content to the parse content, and that's why our editor gets it, right? So yeah, this potentially could be a problem. And if it's a problem, and if we do solve it, then that's a potential for our core library to be improved. Because I mean, technically, because we're passing this editor ref to the TipTap itself, TipTap internally, like we can actually take a look at that. I should have designed it initially as a component. So if I take a look at the ref somewhere, yeah. So here's the ref. There's a use imperative handle. Yeah, so that in theory should work, I suppose, already. Yeah, I would expect, but let's see, why is this? Yeah, this guy's kind of glitching big time there. But we can test the hypothesis here very easily. So if I go to like meetup form, we'll just paste it here just for fun. And then if we go to dashboard, meetups, edit, yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then technically here, really, it's not hello world. It should be, I guess. Yeah, that's a bit tough though, because now we have this control. Yeah, wait, okay, I see. Editor get JSON, no. Editor ref. I don't know what this control is. Yeah, exactly, maybe. Yeah, that's it, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Shit, no, that's not it. Oh, never mind. That's not it, okay. Yeah, so but this is missing. It seems that in the meetup forms custom hook, we are missing the effect that actually sets the editor ref content to whatever the content of that editor is. I think that is essentially, no, actually no, it's here. Okay, never mind. So let's kind of nuke this. So what is the problem then here? If data description editor current, then maybe this expression here is wrong. Let's see. Or maybe it's not description at all. Let's see what it is. Okay. Shit. Let's print the data. Maybe the field is wrong, the field name is wrong, or something like that. Data. Event form hooks. Use meetup. Oh no, this is the event form. Fuck, wrong place, wrong place. Abort, abort. It's this bad boy here. Yes. Yep, yep. It's this guy. Yeah, it's this fellow. This is kind of what's wrong. Okay, fine, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, I see. Sure, sure. Okay, good. Got it. So this is asynchronous stuff. We do reset. But then here we also need to, yes, exactly. And that's it, yeah. Okay, I see. So that was the problem. So weird. All right. Then if we do this and save it, so that's one of the regressions issues that I introduced. And now it should be working fine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is unfortunate. And yes, that was kind of unfortunate. Okay. This was the issue. Or to say, we missed the fact that we have to call set content for description. Okay, I think this is fine, but I think there's a better way. I think this is okay. But I think let's actually discuss this with the AI, because I don't think this is correct. The efficient pattern. Wouldn't it be better that the TipTap component gets the value as all other components and then sets this internally instead? This could reduce the duplicate code a lot and let the component itself handle setting the state and possibly even, yeah, actually let's stop there. You're absolutely right, Alex. The TipTap component should handle this internally, just like input text area and select. Eliminate duplicate code, make the API consistent, centralize the logic, reduce the errors. Okay, it's now making the plan. Sure, okay. Okay, sure. I mean, honestly, it's hard to disagree. Know that we also have comment section that also uses TipTap, so ensure that once we do this change, all TipTap instances are properly updated. All right, let's give this a shot. This was kind of, in a way, a good thing to discover, because yeah, this does make the component slightly easier to use and kind of makes it closer to the rest of the inputs I have, so I don't need to do these things and stuff like that. So we will basically be giving the stringified content, like that's what we store in the database as well. We store the TipTaps editor content as a string, then we parse it, and then we give it as a content state, as they call it. So yeah, let's look at that. And then a bunch of these places we have across the code base will be nuked, which of course reduces the margin for error, because you know, writing this crap here is not super evident and clear. So if we can avoid it, amazing. Okay, cool. Okay, let's let it do whatever it has to do. And then Dotto, good evening. Thank you very much for coming, man. I'll just skim through some of these things so far here. Yeah, that is fine. That is fine. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Cool. All right, actually, before I give it a go with this change, let's commit these things now, because actually there's nothing to commit, so I think we're safe, because I actually don't know if this is gonna result in a successful refactor, if you may. This is quite a high risk one, so let's give it a chance. I kind of guided it to as much as I could, and I think they agreed with the idea. So let's just see what it actually does, and then we're gonna judge that. Okay. Sure. Okay. Let's help it with the import. All right. Thank you very much for your follows, guys. I appreciate it. This is the TS error is fine. It's just that we are we're doing a local linking to a local version of the library, so that's fine. Event hook. Yeah, I mean, if this turns out to work, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to simplify a lot of things. So let's hope for it. You can see if we manage to remove all of this useless code, hell yeah, more power to that. Morgan, good evening. How are you doing? So I would say it's a worth change to attempt, but let's see. Is this React? Yes, it is. Good, doing great. Glad to hear, man. Glad to hear. GDT, hey buddy, good to see you again. Thank you very much for coming, man. Oh man, I love you. Yeah, I remember this, dude. Fuck, let's put this. We need to do this what Doru did. I don't know if I can use this color profile. Ah, dude. Doru, man, come on, man. Join my project, man. Make it your own, and then you join these streams and we code together. How awesome that would be. Just having a designer. Waking Forest. Hey, buddy, good to see you. Thank you very much for coming, man. I hope life is good. Ah, my dear Doru. It's a dream. One can dream that one day he wants to work with me. A pocket designer, a co-founder. How cool would that be? Dude. You know what how many times I asked you. Why people don't use Angular anymore? Is it way better organized than React? No, it's not. No. And I would be very careful in, typically, at least that's my rule. I would be very careful using word better in programming, because once you use that word in engineering in general, you need to be willing to elaborate what better means, right? So whenever you use a word better in programming, it's your responsibility to articulate what that means, right? So I typically don't use word better or worse in program or engineering in general, because it's very vague. Better or worse, right? Bro, writing classes. Yeah, RNG. Yeah, I don't know what you mean, but yeah. Seaplane, my friend. Hey, how you doing? It's been when did I see you last time? I don't remember. Okay, let's see now what the hell is happening. Does this still work? Does it still work? I mean, it would be awesome if it does, right? It would be absolutely awesome. Let's run the storybook. Let's just tell it tip tap stories. We could also, if needed, update the stories as we have changed how the value is passed. No, I mean, the thing is, I don't think he's wrong per se, right? I mean, some things, like there is nothing absolute in life, right? So some technologies, some frameworks, some libraries have some opinions that might be considered better or worse in some sense. So I would say Angular is in fact a full-fledged UI framework, not a library, right? So saying that it's better at something or worse is not wrong. It's just when you use a word better, it's very vague. Like like for example, if you would join a serious technical discussion with serious people, and you would say, "Oh, this is better," you would be probably considered as a fool, right? Because that literally means nothing. What does that even mean, right? What does it mean? This is better or worse? So we're not talking about colors, and you're saying I like color blue than the green one. That is an opinion that you could say is valid. Like, okay, you prefer green over blue, and that's fine. But when we speak about technical things, we can't vaguely say that something is better or worse, because better. What does it mean better? What does it mean better in what, right? So that's why it's so important that when we talk technical things, we need to be very careful how we. And of course, in content creation, on the internet, on Twitch, with content creators, I understand that this is the way to talk and be vague and whatever. But in serious conversations, if you would talk to your CTO, right? Sure, and I agree with you, ZZ. I don't think you're wrong, but I would say that that's not better or worse. That's just different, right? I don't think that it's also not true that Angular is more organized. I think you formulated it a little bit differently than I would. Angular is a full-fledged dependency injection module-based framework that's very opinionated and very tempting to people who like that type of stuff. I also like it. I used to write Angular 1 10 or 15 years ago, and I don't actually have anything against that. My point is, it's not better nor it's more organized. It's differently organized, and there is no such thing. I mean, okay, maybe you could say that some organizational patterns are better than some, sure, but in this context, it's not comparable. A React is a UI library where you can create a component, and that's it. So React as a library is 3 kilobytes library. You can create a function that returns some JSON that's then transpiled into JSX and then whatever, and that's it. So no, right? Like if we take a look at React components, let's say in this project, let's take a look at the simple button component. This is super nicely organized. This is my component. That's it. This is all that there is to it. There's no events, there's no event emitter, there's no signals, there's no anything. It's a component that has conditional rendering based on some attributes, aka props. We have the types, we have the exports, we have the tests, we have the stories. So I would challenge that and say that this is way simpler than an Angular component or an Angular module, right? So if we're talking about simplicity, but if I say that this is better, if I say that, I would of course follow up and say, for me it's better because it's simpler. So that is the thing. For me, better typically means simple, less abstraction, less layers to pass things through for the sake of separation of concerns or DDD, right? So I prefer my UIs to be as simple as possible, and Angular, yes, it enforces a lot of abstractions and a lot of structure, and then you can say, well, for some people that's better, sure, because they're used to that. If you're coming from C# or Java, you're used to shit tons of abstractions, so that might be very natural to you. But is it better? No, it's just different, right? And I think that would be a fair way to put it, at least for me. I mean, I think that is amazing. I think we actually succeeded with this. This is awesome. If you would start this project now, would you choose a different stack for it? To be very honest, probably not. Maybe I would consider Go for the backend, just because I love Go. I think Go is a super beautiful language. But for the rest of the stuff, no. I would still use exactly the same stuff. I would still use React, because it is, in my opinion, and my experience, and I've wrote jQuery and plain JavaScript. I built my own UI libraries many years ago, and I've nearly tried them all. I still believe that React is the simplest if you can write it properly, of course, but that applies to everything. And so from the UI perspective, I would still remain the same. Backend, I do believe that if you want to ship things fast, Node.js has insanely huge community, so that is very useful, a lot of modules. But maybe I would say, okay, let's maybe, just for the sake of it, write it in Go. And probably we will write some microservices if we ever need them in Go. But yeah, besides that, no, I don't think I would do much different stuff. No. Ah, shit, we need to PNPM format. You basically have to choose the tools which... So of course this depends on who you are, how skilled you are, how knowledgeable you are, but I think a simple rule of thumb is choose the tools that you have to fight the least. So choose whatever your stack is. I love I wrote PHP and C++ and many languages in my career, and I love them all. I love PHP as well. It's a very interesting language still, but I would say whenever you're choosing a stack, choose a stack that you have to fight the least. Meaning, in most cases, this is really what you care about. Is like how little do I have to do to accomplish a lot of things, right? And of course, less of an opinionated language or framework is, it more expects from you, because a language typically, can, for example, Go is a beautiful language because it confines and imprisons and protects people from stupidity. So Go really very rarely enables you to do stupid things because things just fail. JavaScript whatsoever, for example, is a beautiful language, but in wrong hands, it can be very terrible. So this is why certain languages are maybe better for beginners, especially those that kinda indirectly imprison you into certain mindsets so you can't fail. And this is probably also true for Angular and some of these things, because there's so much boilerplate that's just repetitive. It just keeps you in this loop completely closed, and it kind of protects you to do stupid things, right? I love Haskell. Haskell is also a language. I remember I learned Haskell from Good. I actually still think I have a book somewhere here. Yes, here it is. This is such a good book. Learn Haskell for Good. Man, very, very interesting book. But Haskell is a very interesting language, and I think not honestly something that I would necessarily use today for the things that I'm building. It would not be very useful to me, but I've learned many awesome patterns with writing some Haskell. Okay, what did I want to do? Sorry. Okay, I see. Just lost myself there. Hey man, we want to see my project. What is it? First tell me what is it, and then I'll consider it. I see guitars back. Do you play guitar? Look at the bastard trolling me here. I would never use Next.js. No, I would never use that. That is the biggest mistake of web community in history of this community. So no, I would never do that. And I would actually challenge you to answer. I mean, instead of asking me why I not use Next.js, let me challenge you to ask, why would I use that? Why would I use that? I would actually. I'm more reluctant to reverse the question, right? So why would I use that? What is the value of it? Have you considered? I mean, I wrote PHP. I can write PHP. I wrote it many years ago. I worked also did some consulting work many years ago. So, but would I consider PHP? Yeah, why not? Every language is good, man. Every language, for 99.9% of companies, choice of language has very little to do with performance or the language, and everything to do with hiring, business, demographics in the area where you live, how easily can you find people to hire, right, etc., etc. So language is absolutely relevant in most cases, for most companies and most people, right? Language matters. The details of the language, capabilities of a language matter in very specific areas of the industry, aviation, writing PCBs, low-level stuff, writing GPU drivers, whatever. But for the web stuff, for the APIs, for the regular companies selling some dashboards, a choice of language has nothing to do with the technical constraints and everything to do with business decisions, right? So if you live in Pakistan or India, you probably want to write Java, or because their schools are teaching Java. If you live in Scandinavia, in Sweden or Denmark, right, a safe choice is C# because community, right? So only either junior developers don't understand this, or just the basement dwellers on Twitch or YouTube, right? So the choice of language is nearly meaningless in the context of anything other than the business, right? So never forget that. So do you write PHP or Node.js or Go or Ruby on Rails or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. I mean, initially, that's very cool, man. I'm very happy for you, but that's typically not what I need. So I'm probably not your user for that. If I wanted to build a mobile app, I would do it myself. So to be very frank with you, respect and well done and absolutely amazing. Any effort I see people put, I always say the result of your skills, the only result of your skills is the work that you showcase and do. So I respect that. It's just I'm not your target user, right? What is the link? Send the link and we can maybe take a look at it. Wow, okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's why. Jesus Christ, come on. Okay. Let's we need to restart the TS server. Where is it? Ah, come on. So just you know, build things, make sure you have the skills that you can sell on the market. And that's really is the Windows terminal Quake mode? It is. Yeah. It is. Looking at it from my perspective, Java backend engineer, full stack frameworks like nodejs seems like a huge productivity boost and sharing types. The thing is, so Mo Mochoi, I think, look, again, to every argument, there are two sides, and to nothing, again, I have to repeat this countless times, nothing is absolute. So every technology provides something and fails to deliver somewhere else, right? So I have to say, again, like the way that I function as an engineer for many years now is that if I ask the question, or if my question is more of a statement or a suggestion, implicit suggestion or not, than a question, then I have tendencies to feel responsibility to answer that assumption. So for example, you said, why don't you use, let's say, Next.js? And I would say, I then of course reversed the question and said, why would I, right? And I think both questions are fair. Your question was honest, and I can maybe extend on it a bit more. But I would say the fact that you asked the question, right, just means that you maybe, like most other people who ask this very same question, should also do the due diligence and ask that question to AI or to yourself, and then convince yourself based with your own eyes and your own work if what you are saying is true or not. Because I don't actively stream anymore like I used to, but I can tell you that 99.9% of people on these streams that ask questions or have statements project these opinions not based on their experience, but just based on either things they read from their content creators or just hear it somewhere in general. So like it's literally like very rare that I ever get rational responses from people even when they suggest something, right? So people have asked me that same question countless times, and then when I ask them why not, they're incapable, which means that most people go online, they hear these arguments, and then they just take them for granted. And that's not engineering. You're not an engineer if it's sufficient only to hear an argument online and then take it as granted. That is not engineering. So never allow yourself to do that. Engineering is all about being pragmatic, being logical, asking the right questions, etc., etc. So when you're choosing technology, you have to do your own due diligence and have some sort of a table where you define why am I using something. So I would say that majority of people who use these abstractions, I can tell you that Next.js is probably popular not because 99% of people understand why they're using it. I think it's popular because it's very, very entry developer friendly. It is it comes with a bunch of things that you don't have to understand, right? So it's very tempting for people who can't code much, and that is its selling value mostly. It encapsulates a bunch of features, bunch of things, it bundles them together. And what you're saying, is it true that it gives you some productivity boost? Absolutely. But from a different perspective, right? It gives a right. So that is kind of yeah, that is kind of my take. So always start simple and then extend to these abstractions and stuff, not the other way around. If you're asking why should I use Next.js or anything else, you probably shouldn't. So that is, I think, the core lesson, or whatever you wish to call it. Okay, now it works. This is amazing. Ah, so nice, man. This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome. Max, thank you very much. And if I've missed some statements or questions from some other people, I'm very sorry for that. I'm still trying to kind of make use of these streams to actually get some work done, but also kind of to hook you, a couple of you, more new people to the stream and stuff like that. So it's kind of a two-way street. All right, cool. Cool. Ah, shit. Cool. Thank you very much, guys, for your follows. I appreciate that. Hopefully you had a good time and learned something new. All right, I'm just doing my due diligence here. Just going to. Amazing. I mean, that was a great change. I must admit, that was awesome. Let me actually take a look at my notes on my tablet now. So if in theory that works, I mean, one thing that we could, let's take a look at a bit of our API now. So okay, so let me just draw this for my own sake. I think RNG. I think what Anish is saying is that their product is simply not meant as a product to kind of work on mobile phone. It's like their users would be. It would be very less likely that somebody would use a app builder on the phone, right? And because you need more canvas to work with it. So I would say, okay. Anyway, let me just. Okay, so we have. So I'm just gonna retest the whole flow, the whole flow that we have in the app right now, and then we can deploy a bunch of this. So okay, let's go step by step. So first, user request a password reset. User gets an email. This is kind of what I've implemented long ago. Let me just test it again because it's been hidden from the UI as a regression. Clicks on a link, is sent to the UI to /password reset or whatever. Okay, so let's give it a shot. And in production, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do docker container ps. We're gonna find our API container. We have a bunch of different containers for different things. So we're gonna say docker container logs, and we're gonna just log onto that. Okay, and yeah, and then let's give it a shot locally. So we're gonna go log out. We're gonna go sign in. Forgot password. I'm gonna say hi at Alexander XYZ. Send reset. Check your email. Like, let's see actually if this works locally. I'm not quite sure. Oh crap! Sorry, never mind. Locally, we don't send the email. We generate the actual token. Yes, of course. That's good. That's intentional. That's what I did back then. Okay, so now if we get back here, now we should parse this token. Our UI parses this and then asks you, but let's see if that's broken or yeah, reset password. Very good. Enter your new password. Password 12345. Password 12345. Update password. Password reset successful. This is confirmation that okay, wow. Okay, let's try. So hi at Alexander. Password 12345. Yeah. All right, good, great. The flow works. Let's actually log in our SendGrid, and it's been so long since I designed that password reset template in SendGrid. Essentially, our email sender, if you may. So let's just kind of probably need to do a bit of due diligence there. So let's go to what did I want to do? auth, yeah, and then SendGrid. And then we say 13355 69 magic number. Yes. Windward, man. Hey, good to see you, dude. It's been a while. By the way, guys, for those of you who are planning to watch the stream, make sure to kind of follow the stream here. Because I don't have a schedule, but I typically a day or two in advance, I'm going to be scheduling streams here on the Programmer Network. So every time I schedule a new stream, you will get an email. Like you will get a notification that I'm streaming. So if you want to get the notification, just make sure to join this meetup, and then every time I create yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's now go to our dynamic templates. And let's go password reset. Okay, there's two of these that we should review because it's been so long since I designed them. Password, yeah, actually I don't think I send an additional email when password is actually reset, so that's fine. Okay, so let's let's do one thing, because now we have this amazing AI that can design crap for us, so it would be silly not to. So what I'm gonna do now is very simple. I'm gonna give this template to the AI. So let's actually go back here and say, given this email template, redesign the one on the screenshot for password reset to have the same style as the one I gave you above. GTO, I used to know someone who used to work at SendGrid, and there was a funny story where during one of the outrages, the on-call developer ordered pizza, but the pizza never arrived because pizza... Okay, I mean, if that is true, that is then great. Yeah, man, same. These email templates are the worst, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna be dropping SendGrid soon. SendGrid is also, they have also switched to Amazon SES, but they didn't reduce their pricing, which sucks ass, right? Very unfair. So I'm waiting for Cloudflare is gonna release an email service that's in the beta, in the early alpha right now. I actually emailed their product manager, but the guy didn't actually respond to my email. But know that that this is gonna be a thing soon, and then I'm gonna be switching to this. But I don't know when. I emailed both Thomas and Kelso on LinkedIn, but not cool. They never responded. I just asked if they can give me early access, but yeah, absolutely. So I use actually that the only company on this earth beside my own that I like is Cloudflare. I've been using them for 20 years almost, and I use it for my local Kubernetes cluster, for programming network, for everything. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think. No, of course, but I mean, I do the same, and I get so many messages on LinkedIn, and I don't answer them. It's just, I don't have the time capacity, and I can't answer every single person that decides to send me a message. That just, it's not feasible, right? So that's normal. I mean, I email them, and I message them, and that's perfectly fine. I think, you know, it's you try and you know, of course I could call them and or email them. If I email them using my Dream Data email, my company email, I'm sure that they would have responded, because you know, it's always about like who the prospect is, and you know, like if it's worth responding. So if I email them as okay, reset password, we have this, sure, I guess. And then the link here is programming network reset password token. So let's get here. Where's the actual href? Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Yeah, I think do I like this? Do I like it? That's a good question. No, not really, not much. but does it matter really that much? Probably not, right? I mean, let's have it. It's better than what we have. Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about support because it didn't use the tables like the other thing. It kind of used the divs and stuff. So yeah, so I would say I would put the yeah, I would put the whole thing in question a bit, like support wise, but it's fine. Okay, divider, blah blah blah. Where's wasn't there like there's code? Yeah, code, sure. Okay, let's now paste this bad boy here. Update, sure. Let's kind of get rid of this. Let's get rid of this and this and this and this. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, it's not super disgusting, is it? Actually, I don't think it matters that much, but yeah, whatever. All right, so we're gonna save that. We're gonna go back, we're gonna check this fella, one of the recent guys, and actually I've seen a little mistake here that's wrong. Event URL, dashboard settings. To manage your notification, visit your dashboard settings. So yeah, this is kind of misleading. Should be I mean, actually, let's leave it fine. Okay, so let me just try to reset the password locally again. Where is it? Here, yeah. So I'm gonna do the same. Yes. Ah, crap. Okay, so actually, you know what? Let's go to the forget password thing. And so let's actually also locally, let's send the email as well, because now I want to send an email actually. So we're gonna say hi at Alex. Forget password. Hi at Alexander. Sure, send. You already requested new password in the last hour. Please try again later. Okay, this is the kind of some of the security stuff that I added so people can't spam that. So let me actually go to my database and nuke that log. Okay, so let's try that again. Good. Now let's go back here, see if we got it now. Yeah, here it is. Okay. And I think that's fine. I can't, if I click on this, it's not going to work because it's going to the production URL. So we could have basically just used the environmental variables there and sent the proper host name, but actually who cares? So that's absolutely irrelevant. So we get here, new password, password 1. Actually, let me try the same password because I should get an error then. If I try the same password, it should tell me that I already had that password because I remember. Because if I recall, I did implement that. Yeah, you used this password recently. Very good. So all of the entire flow works, and that is very, very nice. Okay, good. And then let's say sign in. Hi at Alex, password 1 2 3 4, I guess. Yeah. That is absolutely disgusting, man. Thank you for sharing. That is a piece of information that we all needed now, and it sounds absolutely incredible. Moshiko, hey, good evening, buddy. That is the piece of info that we all awaited here the whole night. All right. Yeah, I think maybe we're safe now to push this. There's a bunch of stuff to merge. Let me actually... I don't have staging for this project. I don't have the... I mean, I have local development, but I don't have staging in production. That would be that would cost me a lot of time that I actually don't have, sadly. How do you use it for production? Just curious. What do you mean, Moshiko? How do I use what for production? Very happy to answer whatever you have. Just please elaborate a bit more. I'm not sure if I understand the question. So how do I use what for production? This app. I think your question is very broad and very unprecise, but I'll still try to answer it. So if you're wondering how is the app deployed to production, is deployed using continuous integration and deployment. In this context, GitHub Actions. It's deployed to my Kubernetes cluster, and then my Kubernetes takes care of other things. Also, of course, so it's a very simple and very complex thing depending how you look at it, but how is it deployed is a very broad question, right? But I would say maybe to make it simpler, it's done or deployed in the way that's kind of standard in our industry. So of course you have some continuous integration server that runs some things, builds things. SSH is maybe somewhere depending. So there's many ways you can deploy these things. For your sake, you're probably not using Kubernetes or whatever. So for you, for example, you can set up a continuous integration server where maybe it SSHs into some server or pushes your image somewhere, and then there's some polling somewhere. So you have some service on your dedicated machine that kind of checks every nth interval for if there's a new image, and then so there's many ways you can do it, either using push or pull. So you can either, let's say you have a CI, what is it called, in simple words, like there's many ways to do it. One is by SSHing into the server and then running some Docker Compose or Docker Swarm or whatever. Alternatively, you could have certain services on your dedicated machine, let's say Hetzner or whatever, that actually do some checks and saying, hey, is there a new image of my API or some other service? If so, pull it, redeploy it and stuff. But it's a standard process in the industry. I don't think I'm doing anything that's necessarily out of the ordinary. So I mean, if you're using Kubernetes, you can use something like let me show you. You can use what was it? What was the name? Let me just finish this and I'll tell you. But there's couple of ways you can do it. Kubernetes native, or you can do it a little bit different, right? That depends also on your networking. So for example, if your Kubernetes where you're deploying is the part of the same like a subnet or a VLAN in your home or whatever, then you could also completely avoid going to the internet and then using your own machine as a CI and deploying. Like for example, if you take a look at my data center here, my server where I host all of my things, I technically don't need to go to the internet, do something on the internet, and then tell this guy, okay, you also go to the internet, pull some images, and then redeploy them. So for me, right, this is done, and I kind of don't want to expose certain details here, but if your Kubernetes cluster is running just like mine locally, then you can have your own local CI running. So like your own version of continuous integration server, you can use Jenkins, you can use many open source alternatives, you can build your stuff locally and then do certain things to redeploy on your cluster, right? Do I use AI? Of course I use AI. I use it all the time for everything. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So for example, I'm using Argo CD, as you can see here. So this is my Argo. Actually, it's not the only instance. So you can use Argo CD, you can use Flux, you can use various types of things. Again, it depends. For you and me, I would say it depends, because if you have a local Kubernetes cluster, you don't necessarily need to overcomplicate it. You could even, for the time being, unless you're doing work somewhere from remote, you can even just do manual things. You can literally like do a redeployment of your what the fuck is this, bro? Really? And that's fine, man. I mean, the thing is, so I'll just give you a tip what I do, and I think what is useful. What I typically do is I change the setup when I get irritated, and I think that's fine. And I think Moshiko, I think you're almost kind of getting to a point, considering your reasoning there. I think you're probably, which is great. I think you're getting to a point where you're probably getting irritated, and now you're looking for tools to solve that irritation. And in my experience, that is the most amazing feeling you can get yourself to, because that now I'm sure that you're gonna find the tool that's great for your use case. So this is why I always say you can't prematurely introduce tools, because you will never understand fully their purpose and the pains that there is. So it can be Ansible or Terraform or anything really, until you feel the pain. Let's say you want to use Ansible. Until you go and SSH into 10 different computers and do every single operation manually, then that's when you, for example, realize, oh crap, man, I wish that there was a tool that I can write declarative things and run some script and it does these things exactly the same on 10 different computers. Oh, there is a thing for that. It's called Ansible. So these are the best ways to kind of land in a certain place when right. Yeah, and that's great. That's probably because you don't need them. But for example, if you go to my Kubernetes guide, or if you go to my guide here, right, there is a bit stuff about automation and Ansible. But so for example, you said you have 2-3 Raspberry Pis as well, whatever. You probably went ahead, Moshiko, and you SSH'd into one, that did some setup, you exited the shell, the secure session, and then you went into another one, third one, fifth one. So you did all of these steps manually. And when you do that once, that is fine to be manual. But if you catch yourself over time that you're SSHing into every single device, every single time when you need to do the same operations, then you typically say, okay, well, now I'm gonna, how do I automate this? How can I apply the same configuration to all of my computers at once, right? not typically a front engineer, but I stuck now. Okay, but before I actually answer any or any other statements or questions, let me try to. I'm actually gonna try deploying this. My assumption is this is almost certainly gonna fail during build in the CI, and actually I don't care. But let me just see, because now also fix the linter now and stuff, which, yeah. So even if it fails, I'm fine with that. And then, okay, let me kind of switch a bit. Okay, let's now see if there's any questions while I wait. Let's see if there's any questions. I'm very happy to chat and answer whatever you guys want. So let's see if there's any interesting remarks or whatever that I can respond to. I'm very happy to do that, because I'm probably gonna round up in like 5-10 minutes anyway. So if you guys have any questions or anything, now it's the great time to ask. Na 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 na. Dee 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 dee. Let me just check one thing. What's your take on links.js? I honestly never heard about that, to be very frank with you, ever. Let me see what that is. Links, empower the web community, invite. I follow it. Thank you very much, man. That's awesome. Render native. Yeah, I never heard of this tool. What gets you excited nowadays? My children, my 2 kids, my wife, my work. I work as a tech lead, so I love helping my colleagues. I like going to work. That excites me a lot. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, what excites me is that I'm healthy, that I have a family, that, you know, I'm probably more privileged than many people out there. So I cannot allow myself to not be excited every day. There's very little that I can ask for in life anymore. I think what I believe I have is the most. I have my family, and that is what excites me. I think family is the essence of life, and without family, long term, everything is really for nothing. So if you don't have family, and if somebody has convinced you that you shouldn't have one, or that it doesn't matter, that's a lie. Make sure you have family. So be careful of what you do in your career, and make sure you don't risk potentially not having family because of some shitty jobs. And the metal, as Doru says, yes. I've only ever programmed in the basic a long time ago, or I would say Zap, just like any other craft, programming is a skill, like a carpenting. So I would say that the easiest way to get the answer on your question is to ask yourself what it is that you want to build. Do you want to build applications that run in the browser, or a phone? Do you want to build video games? So I would not focus I would not ask that question to giving too much importance to programming. I would say what it is that you want to build. I would say focus on that, and then you're gonna get the response easily to your question, right? So programming is meaningless. It's useless. It nobody cares. Just as cutting wood in a carpenting workshop is. When you go to a carpenter, you're not thinking about the ways that he's cutting wood. You're thinking about the eventual outcome of what that person builds out of wood, right? So you could say that it's the same with code. Code is just the product of code is the path to your idea, to the outcome that you imagine. So you should definitely learn to program. I think programming is awesome. It gives you enables you to do many great things. But what you should program should be based on your actual desires. What it is that I want to build. A lot of people think that they want to program, but then they don't want to program, they want to write code, right? That's maybe intimidating, but that's not what programming is about. Programming is not about writing code. Programming is about building things, just as any other craft, right? So I would say if you don't have a desire to build things, then you probably don't want to be doing programming anyway, right? Because it's, why would you? That's at least how I think about it myself. Yeah. It doesn't matter who writes the code at the end of the day, right? I don't think that your users are gonna know who writes the code. As long as you can build something that works, that's secure, that makes sense, I don't think that anybody cares who writes the code. I don't think that has any correlation to programming as a profession. You're not, again, your job is not to write code, your job is to build things. And are you building for yourself? This stream, I stream every now and then for fun. This is not what I do for a living. I have a full-time job for a living, so what I do here is I do this. This is my passion project, and I enjoy it. I like it a lot, but I do this for fun, and that's it. I don't build. I mean, of course, I go to work to make money, but this platform is mine. So programming network is something I really want to build over the years and build the community, and hopefully, you never know. Maybe one day it becomes something more popular than now. And if it doesn't, who cares? I'm gonna meet a bunch of you awesome people along the way. I'm gonna learn a lot. I'm gonna stay sharp with my skills. Moshiko, so yes and no, not fully. I actually just haven't had time to rewrite these Docker files into Kubernetes. So it's not fully hosted there. Certain services are, but I think maybe in a couple of streams, or maybe I do it off stream, I think I'm gonna fully move it to my Kubernetes, yeah. Because right now some of it is running on Hetzner and some of it is running on my Kubernetes cluster here, yes. Which part? If you mean how do I secure my... be a bit more specific. Have you already tried Ray? I have no idea what Ray is. Which part, Moshiko? When you say how do I secure it, which part exactly? Yeah, but what is Ray? I don't get it. Is it a library? What is Ray? Can you be more specific? If I type Ray in Google, I'm not getting anything. Yeah, I don't care honestly, but I can check it. That's not my domain. And Ray I is an AI compute engine. I see. Ray IO. I see. Okay. Yeah, I don't honestly care about this. I think that yeah, I don't care. I don't care. And I have reasons not to care, but good to know. I mean, I clicked it and I see what it does. I think someone else shared this with me, but no, I don't. So I think, Moshiko, based on your reasoning, based on your questioning, let me maybe give you a couple of tips. I get the question, I appreciate it, and let me try to, as always, as honest, let me try to give you a tip so I can guide you in a place where it can be useful. So first and foremost, I think you need to kind of do a little bit of research on what it means to host a home lab, a bare metal. Let's not call it home lab because it leaves a very negative connotation on it. It makes it less real. So let's call it bare metal. So if you want to host your bare metal server, you can't do that without knowing basics of computer networks, basic of operating systems, basic of firewalls, basically all the way from layer 2 to layer 7, right? So fundamentally, and then I'm just trying to, instead of just directly answering your question, I want to give you tips so you can kind of formulate your questions a little bit better, because indeed security is a very broad concept, especially when you self-host things, when you build your own mini data center, right? So how do you secure things? Let's talk a little bit about it. So if we take a look at this cluster, right? So if we take a look at this, give me 2 seconds. Let me actually go here, and then let's go here. So if we take a look at this hardware here, right? So we obviously see electricity and internet in it, right? So of course, security starts from this very physical box. So the first level of security is this physical box. Of course, somebody could break into my apartment and take this box away. So I'm just being a little bit, I'm starting from the very ground up. So this is security number 1. This is the number 1 layer of security, is like, can somebody come and turn this crap off? If yes, then that's not secure. Number 2 is your internet, right? So when you have bare metal, you have responsibility to have an internet that's stable, and ideally a designated internet connection, meaning a second one from a different provider, ideally. So if your internet connection 1 goes down, it switches back to the designated second network. Liz, good evening. So that's 2. So another level of security, and you could say redundancy is the internet, and then security of that internet. And of course, now in my case, this cloud router switch is layer 2, you could say. So this white guy that has a bunch of these ports on it, this is the switch, and then this mini PC in the middle is my router. So now this is the level of security that you have to ensure. So number 1, you have to have a router that's almost enterprise grade. So if you have a lot of traffic, it can process all the traffic, it can execute all the firewall rules, etc., etc., etc. So in simple words, in my case, right, if we take a look at this, so in my case, if we take a look at my router has a bunch of different firewall rules and things, because we obviously need to secure the network. So the network itself is the next level of security. If you go to what is it, K3S guide, and if you take a look at my networking setup here, if you take a look at this overview that I wrote here, you can see that this is my router, this is my switch, and then we have a bunch of VLANs here to protect basically different subnets, different networks inside of my home. Because if you have a flat network and then that specific subnet gets jeopardized or whatever, then your router and everything else, right? No, I haven't built K3S, of course not. But I'm using K3S. So you can see my cluster, my Kubernetes cluster is in the VLAN 20. And as you can see, no direct internet access, strictly isolated, inbound access only allowed from home network or internet via specific firewall rules, right? So this is very important, right? So my cluster is not accessible through the internet, number 1. But then you ask, okay, Alex, but then how do your websites work? How do I host a service and it's on the internet? Well, we expose only certain ports, and we expose only certain ports through our ingress controller, so traffic. So our traffic serves, so our router exposes only selective ports, HTTPS and HTTP, and then it routes all the traffic through our ingress controller through DNS. But again, this is, so you could say that networking is highly sophisticated setup here. So in order to have a proper bare metal at home or in the office or anywhere else, one of the core components in this layer of things is your home internet. And right, so that's why, as I said, I have built my own router from a PC. So I bought this PC and I built a router using a network adapter and stuff. You can see it's just it's a very simple like network adapter, but this now computer is my router. So you need to have a very chunky hardware if you want a lot of traffic to be properly flowing, right? Because when we look at layer 6, layer 7, nobody gives a shit about your API. Oh, I have secured my API. Man, traffic might never even get to the API, right? Because your internet. No, this is my router, and the white thing is my switch. So this is my router, and then so the cloud router switch is the switch, and you can see the mini PC. I have 3 mini PCs and 4 Raspberry Pis. The mini PC in the middle is my router. So that's the router that sends these packages to you guys, so you can watch me stream, right? So that PC there is in fact my router, right? And then of course, so now we have, let's say now you have secured your router, your internet and stuff. Now of course you have the PCs themselves. You have your Raspberry Pis, mini PCs. Now you also have to secure them as well. And of course, when I say it's not just secure, you have to plan for redundancy. What if some of them die? What if a hard drive dies? What if whatever? But then you have a host level, system host level security, right? So you have all, and I actually have to go in a minute, so I can't go, but you can see when you say, how do you ensure security? That's a very broad question. Security at what level exactly? Because security spans from layer 2 to layer 7. Yeah, I mean, my ISP has very little to do with that. I mean, I have a public IP, and that's really all that matters. I don't have a static IP whatsoever, so I then had to write some scripts on my router, so my router talks to the Cloudflare API. So for example, because I don't have a static IP, on my router, I had to write a script, MikroTik script, that says, hey, when this WAN interface changes, and when my ISP gives me a new IP, hit the Cloudflare API and update the DNS record to this new CNAME to this DNS record that my MikroTik router also generates. And I'm actually happy that I don't have a static IP, because kind of this makes this setup a little bit less vulnerable, open for attacks, because I don't know what the interval is, but my ISP Telenor gives me a new IP every now and then, right? So, but my setup is also ready to obviously ready for that. So whenever my network interface changes, I instantly update. I call Cloudflare using their API, and then boom, we say, hey, update this DNS record, right? But the point is, there's a lot of details and there's a lot of things. That's why this is both fascinating and awesome and terrible at the same time, because the core value of this, as I've wrote under the why, is not, you don't want to do this for the sake of making money. Like, I want to build a product. It's quite the opposite. You would never want to do this if your goal is, selling like building an actual startup, right? So why? Well, actually, I wrote here why, so you can take a look at it. Whew. Okay, guys, I need to go. It's been awesome. I hope you learned something new, or if you didn't, I hope at least you got inspired a little bit, because I think some of these things are very interesting and they can give you an idea to some degree. They can kind of motivate you, and I hope that I have achieved some of that at least. All right, guys, thank you very much. What can I say? It's been fun. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the new followers and all of that. If you get a chance, please sign up on Programmer Network and also join the meetup there if you want to get notifications when I stream. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Either way, it's been good talking to all of you. It's been good meeting some of you guys. Doro, I love you, man. See you tomorrow. Actually, to have some beers on that event. And take care, guys. I'll talk to you some other time. Peace out, everybody. Doro, I love you, man. Bye-bye. Cheers.